Hello, I'm James, and the game for tonight is Mask of the Rose. Just checking. Okay. Yep, it's working. And let's continue. See if there's anything in the past to recall. I reach for another memory out of that jumbled grab bag. Can't really remember. I'm out of other memories. I struggle to recall them, and they just float away again. Let's take a look at our stories. We have a possible story about rats gaining the power of speech. Someone taught speech to a rat who swore eternal gratitude. Well, there we go. Rodent domestication. Once upon a time, someone of unusual insight or power was passing through the need. A nameless individual conferred upon him the knowledge of human tongues. A rat rendered mannerly thanks for this kind service. A rat used his new position to introduce new ideas to human society. A nameless individual perished long ago. For our mystery solution, here is our current theory. The Caringhams fell in love with David Landau. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landaus wanted to inherit an estate and funds that would otherwise come to David. The Caringhams sent passionate letters trying to attract his attention. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landaus explained that murder, in the need not be a permanent affair. The Caringhams felt humiliated. One of them poisoned David by somehow introducing arsenical candles to his room. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landaus wanted to avoid blame. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landaus put on a show of mourning quite dishonestly. It's an interesting story, but we don't yet know if it's true. That's something to investigate. Novel plot. A spoiled beauty and enchanted king encountered one another in the land of Nightmare. A spoiled beauty now dwelled in that place more than in waking life. Even when the spoiled beauty seemed awake, her thoughts were often elsewhere. Enchanted king was hopelessly in love with the spoiled beauty, whom he met only in the land of dreams. Spoiled beauty took up monster hunting. Enchanted king gave her a safe house to use during the hunt. Enchanted king has since died. A spoiled beauty works guiltily at his tomb. And lastly, ministerial expose. Mr. Pages wanted to drain London of her wealth and resources. It took some action, but I am unsure what. I'll need to ask someone about this. The typical Londoner was determined to preserve London. The citizen of London planned vast and overwhelming revolution. Now, let's head outside. Here at Crawl Street, we have a theory of the murder. Although, I probably ought to check up on someone about it. Let's take the census with Moss first. One must hope Moss does not have a prejudiced fear of Vernon. Let's change. On official business. Crafting apron. And yeah, let's bring Aldrin up. The badge will eliminate any expectation of a social visit, at any rate. George, it's good to see you. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. I see. Are you married? I understand the terms, but I have no experience of the concept. In polytheme, one is part of a greater whole. One of us cannot be separated from all of us. And the king with 100 hearts encompasses us all. And you are all in union with the king. I am not unfinished. I still serve the king. To be finished is to be complete. To be complete is to be in harmony with his grace. That service is just a little complicated at present. It makes a noise like a sea spray weathering a limestone cliff. I came to the last city to ensure an exchange of gifts between the king and another. It was an honor to serve my king. It is my pride and purpose, for I was made in his image. When I look in one of your mirrors, I am reminded of my purpose. I had a question, if you don't mind indulging me. Have you ever been in love? I don't mean the physical process. He makes a shattering sound deep in his throat that is reminiscent of two boulders colliding. Rather, the companionship, the desire for it. I'd rather talk about you. It seems like a leading question. I cannot say that I have. I was raised by my king, he of 100 hearts. I know only his love, all that he deems fit for me to know, and now I walk apart from it. A noise issues from a heavy chest in the corner of Moss's room. It sounds distinctly like help. It was his suggestion, of course. The trouble with kings is that even their suggestions sound like commands. A further noise follows. It is a garbled shout. Release me! How dare you subject a crown to such indignity? This is the sort of treatment fit only for unruly caps and truculent bonnets. Moss, what do you have in this box? Oh, goodness. I had intended to tell you, but it shames me to say it, but I had quite forgotten I'd put him in that box. After such a long time, I had grown weary of listening to his voice. I do not know how it grasped your language so quickly. I must assume crowns are quick to adapt the customs of their wearers. I see an explanation is required. I have heard that every Englishman is an island, and on that island is a king. My home is similar in that it is an island, and it has a king. My king obliged me to bring a gift of his into the previous city. It was to be delivered to an old acquaintance of his who resided there. They had a tradition of exchanging gifts. My task was to deliver the latest, a task whose difficulty, I regret to say, has only increased since your city fell upon it, for which I hold you in no way responsible. My king bore this acquaintance only love, yet plainly this person did not wish to be found. He makes a noise like a statue dropping into an ocean. The king's heart is much larger than my own. Evidently, it is of such a size to accommodate complexities. You must be very trusted to be given this task. Thank you for saying so. The king could not have appointed it someone else, requiring such an extent of time and distance. The box makes an indignant noise. It speaks loam scratch, the language of clay. The box repeats itself. I must object. It is not a connection that would have occurred to me. The box makes a noise like a knife on a whetstone. I did not ask anyone before. because first the city was in a state of anarchy, and then another city fell on top of it, which made establishing a rapport sufficient for asking a favor a little difficult. A further indignant burst of Loamstrach emerges from the box. My apologies. The gift has happened upon a solution to my problem. It is a crown. It is intended for the recipient's head. The recipient is absent, but the king believed dreams might lure him out. They were a favorite of his. Gee, I wonder who that could be. If the crown were suffused in your dream stuff, the king believes his old friend could not resist seeking it out. This clod is forbidden to dream, therefore yours will have to do. Would you be willing to help us and donate a dream? If you like. I'm not sure my dreams are always suitable for public perusal. Are they very hard to follow or feature teeth? I understand that these tend to be distressing, but for this purpose, all dreams are equal. Only their vividness differentiates the good from the poor. Moss opens up the trunk, revealing a crown that appears exceptionally old. He gazes at it for a moment, an unreadable expression on its stony face, before he passes it to me. New item, the horned crown. There are always risks in wearing a hat with opinions of its own. This crown was worn by my king once. You may whisper your dreams to it. I do not believe it will take advantage of this knowledge. All you need to do is recall a dream and whisper it into our horn. Then wear us upon your head when you next go into the city. If the one who is to receive us has returned to London, he will find us. If he has not, well, you get to receive the unearned privilege of wearing us for a short while. You may not thank us. The tears we are certain we can see in your eyes shall suffice. If, of course, you want to do this. It makes a noise that sounds like a drop of water on marble. This is our task. I can find another way if I must. He says something in grinding Loamstrach. I wonder if it means there must be another way. Perhaps this man does not wish to be found. Perhaps, but my king wishes him to be found. Therefore he will be found. The man will seek both the dream and the dreamer. So, will you do it? Will you take the crown and find the man I was sent to deliver it to? I will take the crown and find this missing man. My gratitude is, it is difficult to express in either Loamstrach or your own tongue. He is happy is the translation. Now I must be filled with your dreams. Come whisper them into my horn, and I shall tell you a secret in turn. I lean in close and feel the cold and ancient crown upon my lips. It seems like it is made of ivory, or bone beneath the gold. I tell it of the sea that waits in my mind, of the pull of the ocean and the cry of the gull. I tell it of the dark mirror I see, waveless and tideless, an abyss that lingers on the edge of London. New goal. Ask Harjeet about a man searching for dreams. What a busy thing your nocturnal imaginings are. Or, yeah, that was the crown. I do not sleep. Even if I did, the king has not authorized dreams. But if I dreamed, it would be of territories not yet conquered. That seems the province of crowns. Now, your reward. I know a secret about our moss under lines. Who unworthily bears the face of our king. I lean in to hear the bronze-toned whisper of the crown. He hid me in his box for fear. In completing the task, he would find his way back to Polyphony. If it's so close in reach, were he to fail, he would be deemed unfinished. The worst thing a clayman can be, disobedient, incomplete. Moss glances up at me from across the room. He's far too polite to admit to eavesdropping. Now I am well filled. Let us see about our missing man. Harjeet may be useful. If my king's friend is lured back by the crown, Harjeet may see him on his rounds. Thank you once more. It means more than words I can express. Judging by the clock, I can afford another errand today. Take Rachel our latest work. The badge will eliminate any expectation of social visit, but this is not a social visit. This must be suitable wherever we go, I feel. The cloak says there's wealth and breeding in my recent past, but the crown implies I am highly placed in a secret religious order. For the corsage, I admit it's startlingly vulgar. Consider what Landau would make my current guard. Sure, let's go with this. You have a visitor. I hoped Phoebe would stay, in fact. As you like. I recount the newspaper story. Wealthy patrons have received their first orders of goods from the service, including a lot of crickets for farming. Make the story as engaging as I can. plenty of detail and a fair sprinkling of dramatic pauses. The fall was worse for David than for me. I did lose an entire draft to a spillage of ink. I laughed, but let the subject drop. There was a brief lull in the conversation. Did I tell you that Milton is thinking of publishing his own literary journal? Something clean-lined and greased and free of fuss. With none of the floral fur bellows you find cluttering the bookstore. She fills in a few more details about Milton's literary aspirations, but this time this well runs dry. I explain what I have in mind. How wretched! We're approaching the end of the story. Something more terrible has happened. Let us say she receives word from up the Cumean Canal. Her former betrothed is alive and well. He has married someone much wealthier than she was. No one speaks for a moment. You're filling the ministry's desire for tales with desire and love. Rachel does look grateful. Rachel adds a proper payment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 1,000 blessings on you. Think nothing of it. This will be the last chapter, so give it a good ending, eh? And I'll pay a little extra. Come to see you as one of my closest friends. I put a great value on your judgment. Your company is always a pleasure. Someone I can rely on who isn't a relative. I shouldn't be telling you this, but there are few people I can speak to honestly. Now, that's an unexpected turn of affairs. Milton has been helpful sometimes. It would be a mistake to trust. You're that tells you not to if you try. But yes, I'm glad to call you a friend. I'm glad to be given such a straightforward account of it. There's a chapter waiting for you to finish. Look after yourself. She notices people's foibles and motives they try to keep hidden. There's also some frustration and impatience. Okay, our new story. Develop a plot about the heroine learning of her romantic abandonment. A spoiled beauty struggled with the knowledge that her long-lost betrothed married someone else. The man of business encountered her in the midst of this gloom. A tragic ending? A spoiled beauty struggled with the knowledge that her long-lost betrothed had married someone else. The man of business encountered her in the midst of this gloom. The man of business regretted past relationships. The spoiled beauty immediately fled London. The man of business failed to understand what was happening. Events took their inevitable course, and the man of business was unhappily married. A spoiled beauty fights regrets. Okay, that's an ending. Oh, there's a fifth story slot. And it's dinner time. Looks like we're going as we are. Archie's absence is a coldness in the air. I wonder how the new feast is coming along. It seems to keep Reese from joining us for supper. The masters have been planning a celebration for the whole city to coincide with Valentine's Day. She's clearly hard at work. She always finds something. One day it's making sure we don't starve. The next, making sure the census files are in order. She puts her back into it either way. I chew diligently. There are no more mushrooms on my plate. Okay. We need to craft a plot for Rachel's next novel. And to help the Clay lodger, take the amber back to Batati Khan. And we need to figure out whether or not our theory is correct. And we have 9 days left before the trial. Breeze leaves me the newspaper after she's read everything of political import. The headlines today read, Feline answering name of Pebbles, accused of carrying prisoners' messages from the HMS Ungulate. Yeah, that's something to look into. Still nothing. That didn't jog any memories. Let's talk to Harjeet. We have a theory of the murder. Let's see if he has any suggestions about it. Doesn't much matter what I'm wearing for this particular task. If I bring Harjeet a case that can't be brought to trial, he'll tell me that quickly so I can get something else done today. Otherwise, telling him might lead straight away to an arrest. Harjeet and I know each other too well now for any minor eccentricities of dress to surprise him. I may still have my own preferences about how I wish to appear, however. Jacket asks a question. What crime did you commit? The answer is there embodied in that fateful sob. And a rich. Is there any risk to make people think I am myself of every organ? Might be suitable wherever we go, I feel. You must hear a sober look that does not detract from the glory of your headgear. Their faith will give your thoughts away. Satisfied with this? Brigitte greets me warmly. I recount a newspaper story. A cat has been accused of passing messages to prisoners. Oh? There's some talk of inducting cats into the diplomatic service, or training them for espionage. Where I tell it, the newspaper correspondent comes out looking a bit of a fool, but it does make the tale more entertaining. London seems to be on the brink of collapse some days. Our animals made strange to us, and monsters creeping in from beyond the city limits. Might be frightening, but there's a chance for us here. Creatures that have lived below a long time, they'll know more on how to manage. Brigitte nods along and even finishes a few of my sentences for me. We turn to the supply of gas and oil. It is a favorite pastime, speculating how much of these commodities the masters have in store, and where they could have come from, and what will happen when night falls entirely. I believe I know what happened and why. When I start to explain, however, Brigitte stops me. There was no sign that the culprit had anything to do with the candles in David's room, making them or taking them in. The only person who made those candles was Phoebe, from what you told me. You might make different questions up before you go speaking to witnesses again. You'd be surprised how much it changes things. With this accusation, no. I couldn't persuade the court to take on this prosecution. Okay, turn to something else with the rest of my... That didn't take up too much time. I can just manage another errand today. Okay, so it's not candles. Unless it was Phoebe. That does seem unlikely. They use unknown methods. What poison? Carrions felt humiliated. One of them slipped David a dose of a terrible poison. Take the amber back. The fort has an alluring menace about it. Most likely no one will expect me to exchange news of the day. Please, please. The blue does not complement my suit. What is the perfect outfit to make yourself something better to wear? The amber brooch. Is there any risk it will make people think I am myself of rubbery origin? I look like I belong on the docks, and like I might speak my mind too much. The crown and the brooch look like the regalia of some secret society. Masonic? Rosicrucian? Something more ancient? The brooch makes it look as though I'm doing some sort of official business, though who can say for what office? Good you, George. I trust you've not grown too sick of mushrooms. The Tachikon burbles a greeting as well. The amber brooch suggests someone's business, even if it doesn't say whose. You remember the errand you gave me? If you have the amber with you, I suggest you return it. You might burst otherwise. It has been held as requested. The Tachikon grasps it with an air of revelation. The Tachikon makes a series of excitable hoots. They suggest a new possibility has occurred. The adaptability of the merchant is remarkable. To discover a niche is one thing. The changing of purpose from the niche you know is more impressive still. But it is a low calling, to be a trader in offal and draw things. Still, it puts any doubts to rest. Commerce in this city is nascent. The locals subsist upon a crude barter economy. The time is not yet ripe. The Tachikon emits a large, excitable warble. It indicates insistence. Right this instant? Forgive me, I need to evacuate the essences from the amber. I shall be back momentarily. He makes a series of burbling squeaks, escalating in pitch, volume, and duration. I am given to understand that he sees London as a great marketplace. He continues to make energetic pipings, the origins of which are best left unexamined. I get the sense that if he believes if everything was for sale, then it follows that his status as an outsider is too. He makes a percussive noise through the application of several tentacles into each other at studied intervals. I am to understand that through the means of a commercial enterprise, he would find his way to the hearts of London. He hopes that I might assist in securing such a license. There are few authorities in London who could furnish such a thing. That was less viscous than previous. I know that Termagant the Market was of unwholesome character. I read more of him while I was gone. Has Ptachikon made his proposal then? He thinks it is time that he be introduced to one of the Khans, so that the lengthy process of rubbery emergence from the warrens begin. The meaning is clear. This is not what he meant at all. Arquagin glances at me as though for support. We hoped, as the first person to encounter the Tachikon in the city, that you would advocate for him with the Khan of books. And what am I to do? Stand there and make appropriate noises. I shall do the talking. The Tachikon makes an ominous warble. You will lend credence to our argument. The rubbery men wish to re-emerge. It is best the process is orderly so as to minimize the harm, and given legal sanction by the Khans of the Bazaar. As the first human to encounter a rubbery man, your voice will lend weight to our argument. As I said, the emergence will take years, decades perhaps, in the deepest reaches. The Tachikon makes an aggrieved honk. He need not wait a shop of his own, now. Once permission is granted, you can return to the rest. Establish communion, commingle essences, perhaps even re-establish the old path. The Tachikon makes a wheezy, deflated gurgle. He makes a forlorn second attempt. London is a market economy. One captures a market by finding a niche. What better niche than a shop in possession of a rubbery? The Tachikon is eager to explain. Means we can both return to the deep places together and prepare for an emergence, of course. They both look at me as though waiting for my response. I will help the Tachikon open his shop. New goal, serve as ambassador to rubbery affairs. The Tachikon makes a squeezed warble of delight. And leave me. Leave the rubberies waiting below? Will you fritter away time on this distraction? I hope you are satisfied with your new interpreter. The Tachikon makes a consolatory burble. Evidently, my attempts to safeguard you and yours are no longer required. Surplus requirement. I shall thank you for saving my life when you forced to be fair, and shall leave you to your new one with got more exciting prospects. The Tachikon lets out an aggrieved whistling hoot. Don't go over this. Why, you already have each other. I will not plead when I am not wanted. I trust we will not see each other again. London is a large place. I will not say goodbye. My breath has been wasted enough. That leaves time for another errand today. Well, that could have gone better. Let's see. Who do we want to talk to next? I can hardly pursue this course without Algernon. Yes, let's bring Algernon. Please, the blue does not complement my suit. This must be suitable wherever we go, I feel. Algernon is game for the visit. Don't mind me if I just feed a bit of cheese to you out there. Afraid we're out of the Sardinian, so you'll have to make do with cheddar. The fork on my lapel conveys a prolonged and sinister purpose. At any rate, it makes small talk irrelevant. I'll lay out the beginnings of my story. How the rats might have been trained and converted long ago. Now, Algernon tells me that the rats might already have a dose of religion. Might be enough to give us an in. Well, silly as it sounds, when Westminster school fell, with me in it, he was washed out to sea. Found myself clinging to a school desk and subsisting on chalk. Far below the water, I saw a glow, like gold beneath the waves. I thought I spied a man, much too large. He held a goldsmith's lens and a tail. He waved me on. I thought it a dream, as one has when on the verge of death. I don't suppose the sage introduced himself. No. Seems as he might have had better manners. Rules of ordinary etiquette are famously inapplicable to holy men. Much as I hate to bother a man busy bothering God, might be that the vicar's the next best bet. I can hear cursing from somewhere in the shop. I do not have to look far for the source. I have finished reorganizing the stock to your inadequate specification. That's all right. Normally we order them alphabetically. I don't see the point if you're never going to use the poisons. Though my customers does, provided they promise not to put them down for the rodents. Your prejudices are most amusing. The rats can talk. They've never stopped me before. In the fourth city, it was customary. Oh, it's you. How are you keeping? Oh, excessively well. Here I am, dispensing poisons to non-rats, furnishing ferret here with the storehouses of my expertise in their attempts to follow my own path. Here's a marvel. Doubled my income and halved the outgoings. I can't let her write to the clients no more. But she was, at any rate, having it been coated in honey and roasted over a slow campfire. I'm not disagreeing with you, but we won't get repeat business that way. You are not getting repeat business regardless. She was as liable to follow the river as find her way here again. Anyway, as you can see, I am exceedingly busy. I have no time to discuss the past and any foolish associations I may have entertained are far too long. New goal. Reconcile Batachi-Khan and Barquajin. I wish you'd reconcile. And I wish I were the wife of Prester John. If Batachi-Khan wished to reconcile, he can slither his way here himself. No, I haven't the faintest interest in how he fares, and am certain it will all end in disaster without me. Okay, real quick. So be sure to tell him no such thing. Is your work all in rat catching, or do you branch out now and then? Used to be the money was in killing rats. Now it's persuading rats to live elsewhere. I tell the client I'm educating the rodent classes, but half the time it's educating the customers. There's still things that need killing, bigger, angrier things. Right you are, I see. We'll have to find our own way down here, don't we? Come back soon. My face betrays my feelings. By now, Horatio will be wondering where I am. Outcome. Wells underwater. Okay, we have a story to adjust. We had a story to adjust. We should not go anywhere. That jacket would be suitable to fire. I recommend burning it. I assume you purchased that corsage during a particularly inebriated shore leave. Yeah, that'll do for dinner. New ships have come to the Wolfstack docks today. Which are those, Miss Griselda? The same they ever were. I've forgotten us when the streets go together. All the names have changed. We finish eating. Okay. You can direct Batachi-Khan to Barquajin. First, we ought to accompany him to Mr. Page's. We need to question people about possible murder methods. And we need to take Algernon to see the Theophilus. Day 297. 8 days remain. I get to the morning paper after Grease is done with it. The headlines today read, Blazing Light observed at Z. Conflicting accounts from onlookers. Okay, let's see if there's anyone we can talk to about murder. Ivy might know a thing or two. One must hope Ivy does not have a prejudiced fear of burning. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this. That's not bad at all, is it? Oh, comrade, look at this. Beth lifted a few clocks and watches and dashed up the blooming hut and christened right up to them again. Not a mark or monogram left on them. And they keep a better time than they did before. I'll put him with the moon pearl chokers. I guess there are some people in town that need a watch and can't get one, due to the cost. It might be so, but the ladies and gentlemen spend more for one. I had a question or two for you. Where I come from, we don't inform for free. Want me to remember something? It'll cost you tuppence. Sure. Fair enough. I hear you were at the Landau townhouse the day David died. So I was, but I knew it was his last day at the time. I was there to refurbish one or two of Richard's gowns for her. Used to be a rich Landau's would never have their old gowns made over. Newcock is dearer than Enseat now. Didn't see David while you were there. He was resting, not well enough to receive visitors. Did see Archie arrive, might have left his bag of medicines unwatched for a time. That's not what I was there for, is it? So you had no reason to kill them off yourself. I don't give secrets, I sell them. There'd be nothing in it for me. And to think of such a dislike a gentleman and clearing them out of me. What can you tell me about poison? Same thing every seamstress knows. Don't lick your green threads. There's enough arsenic in the lady's wardrobe to kill the whole household, or there's not. Of course, you've still got the question of delivery. Best of my knowledge, David Landau didn't die with an emerald neckcloth stuck down his throat. For a moment, no one speaks. Conversation turns to personal things. What do you love best about the Neath now you've come here? So I tell her. I tell her the way the Neath has changed my life. The good things that wouldn't have been possible on the surface. No, all right? I'll keep that secret for you, free of charge. I'm glad you told me. What's the color in your story? Ah, well, top of Rome for me. Judging by the clock, I can afford another errand today. Action. Swapped drugs for poison. Action. Made honest mistake. Circumstance. Or cynical cloth. Okay. Like she said, he didn't die with something crammed down his throat. You can poison David with vibrant or cynical cough, which somehow went unnoticed afterwards, and left no marks on his skin. No. Okay, there's our theory so far. Let's bring the Tachikon. Meet Mr. Pages. Perhaps Batachikon will find Algernon an amusing deviation from the tedious strictures of fashion. Exchange. Yes, this'll do. The brooch makes it look as though I'm doing some sort of official business, though who can say for what office? Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Batachikon burbles a greeting. Batachikon wiggles his tentacles with nervous anticipation. Are you ready to meet Mr. Pages? Batachikon makes a lonely warble. He is happy to go, though in hopes Bakugin does not appear to ruin everything, as is her wont. This is followed by a forlorn trumpeting noise. He has no doubt she would know what to say to Mr. Pages. He himself is not so sure. Mr. Pages is not known for an excess of patience. The brave little warble follows. Batachikon is as ready as he'll ever be. Hi, quite a bit familiar visitation. I hope it will not be like that ghastly novel where the miser is infected with spirits much more discrominious than the last. Tachikon makes a shy warble, and feels a sense of distant acquaintance cautiously renewed. Ah, the untentacled ones! I had not thought to see you again. You passed over surfaces in the most unexpected ways. I hope these stitchments of past and present will not cause undue multitudes. I hope we can put the past to bed. A wondatorious notion that Shovelenberger tintinnabulates the church bells. The Tachikon makes excited, albeit nervous, hoots. I am informed you come not only with glad tidings of resurrectionism, but also a proposition. The Tachikon gestures wildly, and many orifices produce plangent warbles. The cacophony is loud, but the sense is clear. The Tachikon requests not an introduction, but a license. The warbling continues. A magisterial cacophony. I only wish I could understand it. The desire takes shape in oozing syllables. Commerce, a license to trade, a shop of its own to trade from. Warbling ceases. The Tachikon gives you an expectant look. You must interpret it for me. I'll do my best. Tachikon makes a worried warble. Tachikon makes a second hooting attempt, ending with a defiant He is insistent that he requires a place of business from which to engage in the chief activity in London, that is, commerce. Pages looks at me, waiting elucidation. The Tachikon wishes to open a shop. The master's outlawed charity, you know. Despite the evident excitables around the proposal, I've seen many flaws, obstacles, and errors. Progress goes slowly, the economy not yet stabilized. To allow competition into such a fragile economy could prove disaster for us. It is with a full heart I must decline, but seems prudent that a nomadic rapprochement between the Reverie and Londoner must begin. And with you here already as an embassy, I believe the process may begin. I shall send clerks to bedevil you shortly. A capricious day to you all. The Tachikon makes an anguished honk. There is a determination in his tone, but there is no blame. He makes a final, defiant, "Oh, this is not the end, but there will be work regardless. The re-emergence of the rubbery men is not a small matter. You will return to the Warrens. He hopes to see me soon. For now, he is very tired." At this point, I go back to Horatio. Okay. Picking a novel plots. Put the books like this. Go down to supper. Nothing to talk about tonight. Day 297. I bribed Ivy to tell me about David's murder. 2 pence. Who was Reginald again? Day 298. 7 days remain. As usual, I resort to the morning papers. The headlines today read, "Come see Tristram Bagley's newest opera. Witness the rise of a prodigy." Oh, that's certainly interesting. Those who know. Okay. Okay, let's start by seeing if this is a valid theory. Well, first let's start by seeing if we've unlocked any new enemies. Probably not. No. Doesn't much matter what I'm wearing for this particular task. Brigitte seems glad to see me. I recount the newspaper story, Tristram Bagley. It's begun a new opera. Infuse an edge of mockery into the whole. It is interesting to observe the English aristocracy in their native habitat. In prior experience, I can believe I can fill in what the newspapers only allude to. They always were monsters in society. Now it just shows a bit more. Ajit hears me out, but explaining this question doesn't matter as much to him as to me. Don't mind me. Ajit digresses into an anecdote about a house they caught fire, and all the children who had come out to warm themselves by the blaze. I believe I know what happened and why. When I start to explain, however, Ajit stops me. The only person who dosed David was Archie. That was all gone over in the inquest. You could claim someone else was involved, maybe. They influenced him, or they tampered with the bottle. But only Archie gave the medicine. You can't convince me anyone else spooned it into Mr. Landau. He pauses thoughtfully. If you can't match the method to the culprit, then perhaps one of them is wrong. But if you take a theory with a few unknowns in it to the witnesses, it might shake something loose. A definite culprit and an unknown method, or an unknown culprit and a known method. I couldn't persuade the court to take on this prosecution. Okay, let's see here. Clear all of this. Okay. Who assisted? Archie wanted to save as many patients as possible. Someone had unspecified desires. Archie undertook to treat David Landau. Someone swapped rat poison for the medicine Archie used. Then Archie made an honest mistake through no fault of his own. He dosed David with the tainted medicine, ignorant of what it now contained. Someone stayed clear of the situation, pretending not to know anything about it. Okay. See here. Just like this, I can sneak over to the Hulk without RGs and visit Archie on the night. None of the locals will bother me. We should not go anywhere that jacket would be suitable at fire. I recommend burning it. The jacket asks the question, what crime did you commit? The answer is embodied in that fateful saw. Constable will take one look at the jacket and think of escape from prison. The jacket and the wig suggests I just got out of prison and I'm at some risk of being recaptured. Just like this, I can sneak over to the Hulk without Harjeet and visit Archie. None of the locals will bother me, and I probably won't be kept aboard. Probably. Don't like that probably. Ah, you're taking a risk coming here without Harjeet. If you don't watch out, they'll pack you up in the ungulate beside me. And then where will be? A pleasure. I'll say it's my rural upbringing, but I've not known many like it before. Have you found someone yet to stand in for me, yeah? I've been keeping an hammock warm for the true culprit, if you can find him. Nearly there, I found out some very interesting things. So I can come home soon, then? We'll see. Remember what I taught you, when you're crafting a theory and there's something you don't know, figuring out which bits are still unknown, that'll help let you ask the right questions. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about David's murder? Anything that might help you to clear my name, ask away. What did David say about the surface? He meant to set a passage back above, as soon as it could be. He said he knew folk in Livorno, and they would be up the coast from Cumai, and could commission ship. I cannot say I understood all he said on the matter of ventures, investors, and the laying of the Atlantic telegram cable. He took that for a tale of what to avoid, I reckon. But he did say that when the service was running, if I near found another road on, he would give me a ticket aboard. Was he upset with you about the illness, or you with him? I did what I could, and he knew I did. What was out of my power, he knew was beyond me. He did say it was the need to blame. The food and the air weren't good for him, he said. Do we know it was murder? David Landau was already sickly. If he hadn't been ill, he wouldn't have needed your services in the first place. His illness was not the sort to kill a man. It was not more than a complaint of the digestion. It should not have ended his life. Certainly not all of a sudden. What is it you've been trying to make? There's an old medicine in the pharmaceutical books. Venetian treacle was its common name, Theriac mithratum, to those that had some teaching. It's said to cure every sort of ailment at once, and ward off poisons too while you're about it. You needed a lot of strange ingredients. It seemed to me that there's new complaints we haven't seen on the surface. So we could do with a bit of a cure-all, as long as we haven't worked out particular science. I'd been given it to David Landau, but I ran out on the last day. I had to give him a much more usual stomach settler instead. Nothing I'd not give to anyone and everyone. You have an alibi for the time when David died. Oh, aye, I was in the Landau's house, that's true. Not that it weren't fair crowded, come to that. Rachel was always there, as if she did not trust me to dose her brother, but I doubt she's changed her mind on it. Then there was the housekeeper, and Rachel's gentleman caller came at the morning. That caused her to do. And what was there in the morning but a postman collecting their letters for delivery to the circus? Breeze always said she couldn't arrange for me for love or money, for all her acquaintance with Mr. Pages. The Landau's had got mail and was sending their reply again by return of post, like London never fell at all. While you were treating David Landau, did the two of you argue? Nay, not a bit of that. We talked on his illness, and when the news came of mail from the surface, we talked on that. Nay ill feeling in it. Why she has not been to visit? You did not know why? I hate to think she believes I'm guilty. I'm sure that's not the reason. Nay, what I would have thought she'd do. She always said a great deal about us being like family to her. All that family don't pay rent. I see you as one of my closest friends. Everyone needs an ally down here, the way I see it. Time was when the thought of this would have stopped me in place. I fear that I cannot take a liking to anyone without something happening to them. That fear don't weigh in me so much now, and I have you to thank for that as well. Okay, envenomed post. That's another possibility. By command canal, begged passage to surface. Okay, the surface dweller cannot have someone to move, it looks like. Okay, let's start with the surface dweller. Poisoned probate. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landeaus, most of all wished for wealth, David for an inheritance. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landeaus sent word of David's inheritance. David began planning a journey to go back to the surface. Then, a surface-dwelling relative of the Landeaus wanted David not to inherit. She sent the Landeaus a letter infused with deadly toxin. Powerless, David died with the letter crumpled in one hand. Okay, that's one possibility. Incidentally, his this. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landeaus abused the services of the royal post. A surface-dwelling relative of the Landeaus. Go back to poison probate. See what Harjeet makes of this one. There you are, George. I've heard 4 other cities also fell into the moon. You are still alive and breathing. Take care you do not forget the miracle of that. London is the 5th. That would explain the coins that are not London. I wonder whether it has always been the masters who collected cities, or whether there were other conquerors before. The conversation turns to the behavior of the animals, which is even more peculiar and alarming. I believe I know what happened and why. When I start to explain, however, Harjeet stops me. Even if there was post-scent, we can't show it was poisoned. You don't have any witnesses of David perishing on reading the dangerous document, and it seems none was found afterward. Unless the jury are very gullible, we can't make anything of this. Okay. Poisoned post is not a viable option. So let's remove that. Okay. Stuck at tainted drug, unless Phoebe did something with candles. Okay. Phoebe did not think as humans do. Someone. Phoebe most of all wished for a missing family, a nameless individual, some unspecified benefit. Phoebe begged David for passage to the surface. Someone told her a concoction of lies and encouragements that stirred her up her resentment against David. Then Phoebe blamed David for every misfortune. She poisoned David by burning arsenic-laced candles in his room. In fact, the candles had been burning there for some time, but the number was too small to cause lasting harm. When Phoebe turned her mind to it, she brought in candelabras full of them. Let's not go with that one. Archie most of all wished for health for the Carringtons for a clean slate after past relationships. Archie wanted to save as many patients as possible. The Carringtons fell in love with David. Archie undertook to treat David Landau. The Carringtons swapped rat poison for the medicine Archie used. Then Archie made an honest mistake through no fault of his own. He dosed David with the tainted medicine, ignorant of what it now contained. Carringham stayed clear of the situation, pretending not to know anything about it. Well, let's leave the Carringhams as a question mark. And their motives also. One must hope Ivy does not have a prejudiced fear of vermin. Good afternoon, comrade. Algernon makes his bow to Ivy and extends one paw in greeting. Here is warmer for just a moment, briefly comforting. It seems we're getting acquainted. You might tell me where you come from. I describe my family history as I've done before. I pepper the story with the most outrageous and silly of events. Special attention to the accidental near drowning of an imported elephant. Very good. I won't cut the acquaintance yet. Wouldn't have guessed all that. Goes to show. And you think why Archie might have meant to harm David then? No reason that I know of. I'd seen Milton on the day of the murder, carving some markings in the base of a candle. He was standing there in the parlor, shaping the wax with the end of a pen. He didn't notice him standing there. The sight of it made my hair stand up, and I backed out of the room again. Just making marks in candle wax. Nothing to do with Archie's medicine. It was a strange pastime in the stranger's parlor. For just a moment, no one speaks. There was a mother who came to me. She confessed about the death of our baby. Go on. Well, the deed was done, and peckish work it was. But there is still not a belly timber in the house. It's all right, put it out. I asked her what she did with the body. Got a night's casket full for the lake. How she said it was, I already learned to roast a cat. And then David Landau returned from the boat with all his deep in air. The person making that return with the choice cuts of peck missed out. Spectacular ain't a gladsome sight to the mum's eye. Be that out, nay, almost alone is not enough for that woman. You had to take the memory out clean. It's a method I've not known to do above. The colonel runs the urchin gang in these parts. She knows things. She was here before them, it said. And I say, down here, you take what advice you can. Thank you for telling me. Got to put a thing down somewhere. He was one of my closest friends. Now that's a porky. Huh? You don't see me as close. I've given you no call to think any such thing. I haven't been telling you my deepest, darkest. I haven't been crying on your shoulder over all my woes. I have been touched you for alone, which comes long before the other ones most friendships have seen. I haven't given one single sign. You don't strike me from the scope. So there you go. Consequently, in conclusion, you don't think we're close. Might be you admire me. I'm a bit of a laugh. Wish you could dress as fine as I do. Not only the dress. Wish more people were like you. Locks, my mother would say. Got it bad then, have ya? You're figuring Ivy fits flat for average. I am clattered. Might also be confused. I leave the room like spinning. Maybe I need to sit down. Moreover, I'll faint. It's a novel sensation. This is not used to it. If you touch an offense, don't make a great formality of it in a general way. If anyone asks, I might say we aren't friends. And the news asking in each other's circumstances, you understand? He kept up the chatter for a good while longer. But she's pleased. I can tell she's pleased. Action. Offered arcane aid. Okay, what can I do with that? Archie wanted to save as many patients as possible. Someone had unspecified desires. Archie undertook to treat David Landau. Someone swapped rat poison for the medicine Archie used. And Archie made an honest mistake for no fault of his own. He dosed David with tainted medicine, ignorant of what it now contained. Someone wanted the murder to succeed. Someone traced a sigil of the correspondence in the medicine bottle, rendering it 10 times more potent. And do we have arcane aid in any of the others? Not there. Not there. Yeah. Okay, what we need is someone who wished David ill and had access to the medicine. Well, time for dinner. So far, I am egalitarian, friendly to the church, in favor of strangers and people unlike me, opportunistic and not always too concerned about the social contract. On the wrong side of the law, and I like it here. Day 299. 6 days remain. And I believe I will call it for tonight. From the morning paper. The headlines today read, New Anglican Synod disbanded under accusations of infiltration by impostors. And going to call it for tonight. I've been James, and the game has been Mask of the Rose. Thank you for watching. Thank you also for liking and subscribing. Good night.